welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Brendan, this is GRIZZLED WIZZLERS. Flame of Anor is showing up in all the formats it's legal in, sometimes on the fringe, sometimes right in the center of the consciousness, depending on the metagame rotation, and this card rules. I've been excited about it for, 2.5 years, however long it's been that we've had Lord of the Rings in our hands. Choose one. If you have a wizard, you get 2. Target player draws 2, destroy target artifact, deal 5 to target creature. Big Kolaghan's Command vibes, but draw 2 is probably a lot better than Raise Dead in a lot of situations. And it also means you can just fire off Flame of Anor to draw cards if you got nothing else going on. We're also blessed right now with one of the best cards in Legacy being a 1-mana wizard. That means it is not a hard sell to turn Flame of Anor into the good mode. Tamiyo needs no introduction. This is what Legacy is about right now. If you think otherwise, you're not paying attention. This card is just great. Thundertrap Trainer, also a wizard. It's a great thing to spend 2 mana on. It's a great thing to spend 6 mana on. It turns on your Flame of Anor. It turns on your Kaito. It blocks, it attacks. We love Thundertrap Trainer. Snapcaster Mage, the classic wizard. What's better than Flame of Anor? Yo, dog, I heard you like Flame of Anor. Snapcaster is also an awesome one to pick up with Kaito. Then you can re-Flame of Anor. You just get your graveyard going crazy. Kaito, not a wizard, but does kill your opponent. This deck is not dissimilar to Dimir Tempo. It is a Dimir deck with a red splash. It has Tamiyo that applies early pressure. Both decks play that. It has Kaito that turns your early doofuses into real threats. Both decks have that. Force of Will, Thoughtseize, the Cantrip Suite, they all have that. But instead of Bowmaster and Nethergoyf, this deck has Thundertrap Trainer and Snapcaster. It's trying to play a little bigger. It's trying to get a lot more card advantage going into the late game than a Dimir Tempo is. And that gamble is based on we have the tools to get into a late game. Like, I think heads up versus Dimir Tempo, I'd rather be this deck. But of course, that comes at the cost of we need to put red lands in the deck. Our mana's not perfect anymore. There's this awkward spread of 4 basics that may or may not cast our spells when we need them to. But that's just Magic the Gathering deck building. I'm excited to play this. I like every single card in this deck, and they're all cards that I'm excited to cast right now. Let's do it. This is GRIZZLED WIZZLERS. I'm on the play in round 1. I'm going to keep my hand. It doesn't know what its plan is yet, but I have Force and a blue card and some Surveil lands and a Brainstorm. That's fine with me. I'm playing a long game anyway. Once upon a time, with a Scythecat Cub avatar, opponent's got a vibe. They found and immediately deployed Verdant Catacombs. Basic Forest Llanowar Elves. Wow. What year is it? I'm going to fetch for... I would be surprised if a Llanowar Elves deck has Wasteland in it, and I would rather have black. I'm going to get Undercity Sewers here. Flame of Anor. Keep that. I will, in fact, bolt the bird. And I'm going to chill with Force blue card. See what's going on. Flame of Anor also, obviously, just kill stuff. Elvish Reclaimer. Alright, I am going to go to my turn and probably just flame the Reclaimer. Ponder's tempting. Nah, I'll just kill this Elvish Reclaimer. It's tempting to kill the Dryad Arbor, because mana denial is always nice, but Elvish Reclaimer, digging through the deck, doing other stuff, not ideal. The Allosaurus Shep suddenly makes my hand bad. Deck full of removal. I'm going to need to draw some of it here. Okay, I'm going to start with Ponder. Flame of Anor. Okay. I'll go Brainstorm, Trainer, Flame, no shuffle, play my land drop. And I'm just going to pass here. I can kill the Allosaurus Shepherd in response to a spell, and then counter that spell. They missed their land drop entirely last turn. Uncounterable Once Upon a Time. If this finds Gaia's Cradle, that's pretty good, and it did. I hope they just jam Natural Order here. Alright, no attack. Now it's a little awkward, because I have the Trainer on top of my deck that I do want to use. Alright. I'll deal 5 to the Shep right now. That's worth a mana because of Cradle. All right, casting an uncounterable Endurance over the top, that's fine. That doesn't really matter to me. Under Trap Trainer, there's 1 Lightning Bolt, 2 Molten Collapse in my deck, but otherwise this basic mountain kind of stinks. I'm trapping it. Fatal Push. I like it. I am going to take 2 mana off their board immediately by taking out this Dryad Arbor. And I'll pass. Another Shep. Don't love it. Now I'm not ready for Natural Order. I'm not going to block. Deck's full of flames. Alright, it's my turn. Scalding Tarn goes well with Brainstorm. Molten Collapse. Okay. 3 is too many Force of Wills. I'm going to put back 2 of them. And I cannot kill 2 things because they don't have 2 things. I'm going to kill the Shepherd, which tells a consistent story about what's in my hand, but, I mean, it's true. I'm holding a counterspell. All right, another Endurance over the top, sure. The second one is meaningful. I could preordain now. They didn't shove Natural Order when they could have last turn. Maybe I'm being a baby. But I also don't want to just die to some stuff I could avoid. Endurances are getting in. These put me to 10. And I'll get my other Surveil land. Thundering Falls. Oh, if I jam Lorien Revealed, I might just lose. But draw 3 is pretty exciting. I'm actually going to keep this on top as a guaranteed blue card, then I can preordain for more reasonable action. Like Snapcaster plays here. All right, cool. Snapcaster, Sheoldred's Edict. Edict seems way too slow for how wide they've gone on their board. So Edict on the bottom, Snapcaster on top. And then do they have a 3rd Endurance right now? Target Molten Collapse. They do have a 3rd Endurance. All right, this one I do have to counter. Unfortunate. Well, they've whittled me down. If they have a Natural Order at this point, it's going to work. All right, Endurance is destroyed. I am not going to block this. I still have answers to this thing in my deck. I don't want to go down Wizards if I don't have to. Oh, that's so close to kicking it. That's fine. Big digs, let's take it. Show me that Flame of Anor. Fatal Push. All right, I guess I have to take it. And I'm going to pass. I'm probably at a point where I could chip shot with one of the trainers, but I don't want these Elvish Mystics finding a single attack anywhere. Okay, I'm going to block with a trainer. This turns on push. What if I triple block? I lose 2 creatures, but I get to keep my Fatal Push. I think that's fine. They can kill a trainer and a Snapcaster here. I only need 1 wizard. And they can't take out the one with 2 toughness, which keeps the Elvish Mystics back. Ooh, something's happening. Talon Gates of Madara. This is not going to go how you want. Or wait, how does phasing work? Oh my god. Does phasing turn on Revolt? Left the battlefield. I don't think it does. I think it just... Oh, this doesn't even... Okay. Sure. Alright, so they're going to kill 1 Thunder Trap Trainer here. I'm pretty sure phasing does not turn on Revolt. And I'll push the Endurance. Alright, we phase back in. Lightning Bolt. Alright, now Snapcaster's going to push. If they want to trade with this, I have the Bolt for their Mystic, and then they have almost no mana left. Alright, they've correctly identified that at 19 life, they should keep their resources high. Bajuka Bog. Alright, that is a little bit relevant. That is the 4th time this game they've blown up my graveyard. Brainstorm. Always happy to see you. Kaito, Bane of Nightmares. I like that a lot. Okay, I'm going to put back Kaito and land. And then I'm going to attack with Snapcaster Mage. They didn't block it last turn. And I'm still just fine if they block it. The exchange is still good for me. Did not block. Blue, black, colorless. Ninjutsu. Okay, and then I'm going to surveil the other Kaito into the graveyard and the polluted Delta into my hand. I have my land drop. Now they're under real pressure. I don't have a good answer to a Natural Order right now. I could stun the Atraxa for a few turns, I guess. If they have a Crater Hoof, I'm just dead. Or that's not true. They have to sack one of their elves, and then I can bolt the other in response to Hoof's trigger, and then they trample for 4. I'm at 1. Alright, let's just not do that. Oh no. Okay, they did draw a Natural Order here. And they tapped in a way that they're clearly not getting Crater Hoof. They could have tapped Cradle to do this, but tapped both Elvish Mystics instead. Ooh, 11/11 White of the Reliquary. That's a fun twist. I did not think that's what was about to happen to me. Talon Gates, zooting that out so Kaito can't tap it. That's smart. Okay, that's gone. And we go to my turn. Tamiyo. I could flip that here. I think I want to attack with Kaito first. Yeah, I want to see some cards. Give myself some options. This game is very close right now, and I'd like to not throw it away. Okay, I don't want this Brainstorm. I think I do want this Ponder. That's the second card I've drawn this turn. So now I can go Tamiyo Ponder, which is good for a flip. Flame of Anor. Are you helpful here? Can they give the white trample, I guess, is my primary concern here. If they can't give it trample, I'm fine. If they can, I'm cooked. All right, I'm going to draw Thunder Trap Trainer and try to come up with some blockers. If there is a Volcanic Island in the deck, I can tap this mountain. All right, I'll bank Flame of Anor. I don't have a non-blue blocker. If they have a Sejiri Step on top of multiple Talon Gates, they're going to win. All right, Moment of Truth. Can I block? They're attacking Kaito, which means I'm not losing this turn. I want Kaito in play, so I will block with the Thunder Trap. I got plenty of wizards. And my opponent's at 11. Am I going to turn the corner and just win now? I can Bolt End Step, Tamiyo Buyback Bolt, Snap Bolt, attack. This is really close. I'm gonna go for it. A Volcanic Island, End Step Bolt your smelly face. Okay. All right. They tapped Elvish Mystic and then changed their mind. Okay, I guess they thought I was targeting Elvish Mystic with that. A reasonable guess, I suppose. All right, I'm going to try to stun White of the Reliquary, pre-combat, and then see where this goes. Fetching in response. Grabbed a Dryad Arbor. White sacks the Arbor. Lair of the Hydra. That creature is tapped. And so is the white. All right, I'm going to buy back Lightning Bolt from my graveyard with Tamiyo. Flame of Anor costs 3. Snap Bolt costs 3. Kill the Mystic and I draw 2. Oh, the Bolt's not in my graveyard. I have to draw a land here. All right. That was a little sloppy. Okay, they've had enough anyway. Oh, right, the Kaito is also 3 damage. Yeah, I had it a couple different ways there. All right. Yeah, a big part of this deck, especially with the Lightning Bolts in it, is knowing when to turn the corner and just get them. Right, I like Dress Down. I like Grafdigger's Cage. I guess I like Beowulf just fine. It's just a creature that can tangle. There's no sweeper in the sideboard. That's not really what the format's about right now. Playing a deck like Elves in this format is bold, but nobody's going to have specific hate for you. I think some of the forces can back off. I still like a small number of them. And Cling to Dust isn't really what this matchup's about. Do I like Force of Will more than I like Cling to Dust? Maybe. And Cling can change the size of a White of the Reliquary, and it's just a generic cantrip, versus Force, which may or may not matter versus what they're doing. I think I actually do like Force more than I like Cling to Dust here. Their graveyard just doesn't really matter, but they have some big spells that I need to tangle with. All right, keep. Here's this sad basic mountain again, but this time it's got Tamiyo and Beowulf with it. Reclaimer. All right, if I want a chance at casting 2 spells next turn, I have to fetch Volcanic Island here. Or I could just Mountain and accept that that mountain's in play forever. All right, the mountain's in play forever. A fetch. Thoughtseize. All right, dig in. I'm glad that wasn't White of the Reliquary. This probably takes Tamiyo, would be my guess. And the cantrips are all interchangeable, and then it's whether you're more worried about Tamiyo or Beowulf. These Reclaimer white decks do sometimes have 1 Wasteland in them. It's not like a whole plan, but it is something that might be worth thinking about. I can't afford to think about it yet. I'm just going to cast Preordain. Okay, top on the lands. I want them all. There's 3 cards in their hand right now. If any of them are natural order, that's scary. Zenith for 2. All right. White of the Reliquary as the 3/3. All right, deck full of removal. I'm drawing Polluted Delta, but I've got 2 Brainstorms in my hand. I would like to cast a removal spell this turn. None of those are removal. I could flip Tamiyo next turn. I think I'm a long way off from Kaito. Kaito can go away, and it might have to be Tamio, Kaito Tamio. And now I could dress down in my end step and their creatures don't have text for their turn, or I could advance myself with Thundertrap Trainer, and I think I should be training these Thunder Traps. Force of Will, I'd rather have Fatal Push. All right, Force of Will covers Natural Order from the top rope, and Fatal Push covers every other thing that could happen. All right, I'm going to bank Fatal Push and hope that they don't shove Natural Order. Their 3-card hand would have to be land Natural Order. There's the land. You're halfway there. Elvish Mystic. Okay. They don't have Natural Order. Light of the Reliquary gets in. And I have the dress down combo here, so they can't even spin any of their tricksy little lands into play. All right, I think I'm going to play Polluted Delta and then just pass the turn. They might spin up a Cradle here with the Reclaimer. They might just cast Endurance for 3 mana. Dryad Arbor's in play. Reclaimer is reclaiming. Got another Cradle, or the Cradle. It's not another one, it's that one. And I'm going to dress down now. Their creatures won't work on their turn, and if they try to white here, I can Fatal Push it. Right, white sacks Dryad Arbor. Lair of the Hydra. Alright. I'm going to Fatal Push the white, and I draw Flame of Anor. Let's go. That's pretty sweet. Lair of the Hydra can be pretty large right now. I guess it's just a 3/3. That's not too bad. If they want to spend their turn attacking me for 3, I'll take it. I'm not even worried about Natural Order here. Like, they could put a 7/7 body in play if they have a Traxo, or they could set up for next turn with a White of the Reliquary, but that's not what I'm worried about. All right, they made a 2/2. Means they have 1 mana up for something. This could be Orcish Bowmaster. They're in the colors for it. It is played in the archetype, and this does with the Mystic represent it. Right, I'm going to fetch a Surveil land. Undercity Sewers in the end step. Another dress down. I don't hate that. I've got exactly enough mana to dress down and Flame of Anor. Right, I'm just going to play a land and pass. I intend to dress down in their end step, or my end step again. And if they just like play Bowmaster here or activate Reclaimer, that gives me a window to do whatever I need. All right, they didn't do anything. That's fine. Zenith for 1. Okay, this is probably Shepherd. Yep. Ramming Natural Order. I'm going to dress down in response. They can still get some big jerk. Like, I could Flame of Anor, kill Elvish Reclaimer, draw 2 cards right now, try to hit one of my forces. All right, Natural Order resolves. This might be a mistake, but my deck can answer a lot of various problems. And if they get White of the Reliquary here, I'd rather flame that. Keen-Eyed Curator. All right. I am happy to delete that from existence. Right, end step, before Dress Down dies, flame. I draw 2, 5 Deer, Raccoon. Okay, they did not have Veil of Summer. That's good. Thundertrap Trainer Conqueso is available. I think I should be brainstorming. I just have some kind of dead cards here. There we go. That's what I wanted. I put back a bunch of these extra lands. Who needs them at this point? Fetch for basic swamp. I don't know, just in case. I'm going to Fatal Push the Reclaimer when they can't zoot it out. And I guess I'm just going to shove Barrogoyf here. Or I can Ponder first. I've got mana left. If I find Force, that makes everything really easy. This is also really easy. All right, what do I think is the best situation? I think the best situation is just having Barrogoyf in play. And if they have 2 Natural Orders, whatever. All right, Kaito, Snapcaster, Molten Collapse, don't shuffle, jam Barrogoyf. They saw this Barrogoyf off their turn 1 Thoughtseize. I even get a cheeky point here. Yeah, they saw this Barrogoyf off their turn 1 Thoughtseize, so if they had a plan for this, they still have it, but it's bigger than Dismember. If they've been sitting on Fatal Push or just like go for the throat this whole game, that's fine. White of the Rel. Mostly I just think this Barrogoyf's gonna do the work. Okay. Molten Collapse to destroy white. And then I'm going to attack. They can't afford to block, they also can't afford to not block, so I'm good with this attack either way. Barrogoyf hits Tamio, and then I can leave up Snap Push while also advancing Tamio. That's pretty good. Okay, go. Findhorn Elves, looking good in 2025. Love those guys. All right, they do appear to be casting Natural Order. You can't snap Dress Down. I can beat Atraxa here, though. I'm going to snap push the Shepherd before this Atraxa trigger resolves, just in case they come up with a Endurance plus green card, or even land Veil of Summer. All right, kill Allosaur Shepherd. Okay, 10 cards revealed, Endurance among them. A second Keen-Eyed Curator. They took Cradle, Endurance, Snuff out Zenith. Played the Cradle. Endurance can beat Sheoldred's Edict here. Or no, it can't, because Cradle only taps for 1 now. Alright, I think they're dead. Trying to imagine what they could do, and it seems the answer is nothing. Hey, Thoughtseize. Oh, I can force some issues here. I don't need to do this, but I can. If they want to like pitch Endurance and snuff out a creature in response, they're extremely dead. Okay, I'm just making sure nothing can go wrong here. They have 1 green. They could activate Lair of the Hydra, but who cares? You can't snuff out a Barrogoyf. Alright, I'm going to take the Zenith. And then each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature of their choice. If they activate this, it's a 0/0 and just dies. Cool. Alright, yeah, just deconstructing a creature value deck with my billions of removal spells. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2 with the Dimir Tempo special. I'm going to keep my hand. It's basically perfect. This one does offer me the option of playing on basics, which I think I'm going to do. Just get Tamiyo in there. The Scalding Tarn should tell my opponent that I'm not traditional Dimir Tempo. But we'll see how closely they're paying attention, or if that bluff even matters. A Tundra. Okay, they didn't plow Tamiyo, which means now they never can. Attack. I could go aggro here. I have the force to back it up and just make this game about that. Alright, I'm not going to play chicken with Swords to Plowshares. They could have plowed on their turn if they wanted to. Alright, so they were worried about days, and now they can't afford to worry about days. I think I am going to force here. I chose to make the game about this when I could have played it slow. So let's make the game about this. Okay, I'm going to put Thundering Falls and Lightning Bolt back in my deck. Though Push, Bolt kills most of the things Push does, and it can also go face. Alright, or I could get rid of this Force of Will. But I can back up next turn. Alright, I'm getting rid of Force of Will. Give me that 1-mana interaction. Plus Tamiyo, and then I'm going to Badlands Thoughtseize here. Badlands Thoughtseize. What flavor of Tundra are you? Force of Will pitching Brainstorm on Thoughtseize. Interesting. Okay, so they didn't want to fight over my Tamiyo, but they do care that much about Thoughtseize. Which is extra fascinating, knowing that I could just Thoughtseize them again next turn with my Tamiyo. Alright, Scalding Tarn, minus target Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize you. Alright, 2 cards well spent. I'll take this Cephalid Illusionist, but I am pretty worried about these multiple Urza Sagas. I'm going to have to grind through them the old-fashioned way. With removal spells and grit. Misty Rainforest. Okay, so they're trying to get max value out of every saga rather than pile sagas onto me. I think they're correct for that. I'm going to get Underground Sea and use my clue. Undertrap Trainer. Nice. Right, plus Tamiyo. And if I Thunder Trap, then they can daze my removal. And I think I actually do need to remove some stuff this turn. Alright, I'm going to pass. The only thing I'm worried about is constructs, though they are quite worrisome. Tropical Island. I assume at this point in life that all breakfast decks are Nadu, but now we know it's Nadu, in case there was any doubt. Alright, you get a 2/2, tutor up to a 3/3. Hope there's no Pithing Needle in their main. No, it's just Shuko. Made a 4/3. I'm going to Lightning Bolt here because A, it works, and B, it might not work versus something like Nadu in the future, or if these constructs get big enough. There's the other saga, Days, 2 unknowns in hand. I think for tempo's sake, I'm going to Fatal Push this construct now. I don't want to have to deal with it next turn and think about Days the whole time. All right, now I can Thunder Trap. This is great. And I still have Force up. And then Tamiyo can rebuy next turn. I'll take this Shieldred's Edict. It was Edict or Preordain were my options. And Edict can answer Nadu without killing me. Though another thing we've learned in our history playing Legacy is that Nadu players are extremely lucky. And if they go Nadu with Force backup here, we know they have a blue card. I might just have to Thoughtseize them this turn. Tamiyo, don't like that. All right, no, it's fine. It's actually completely fine. Even if they Brainstorm and flip it now, I have Shieldred's Edict in my hand. Okay. There's a Tamiyo over there. Now I have double Force of Will. What do I do with that information? I think Tamiyo is just going to buy back Fatal Push here. Gonna have to work my way through the constructs, but I can handle them. All right, I'm just going to pass. When they make the construct, I'll push Tamiyo. Push Tamiyo. And now Daze is on for the Edict. Gonna have to block with Thunder Trap Trainer this turn. And then figure things out. There's a Dress Down in my main deck. I'd love to see it. Double Shuko. Is stapling a 3-for-1 onto an uncounterable land good? Do we think that has legs in Legacy? I'm not complaining. I think Urza Saga is a design masterpiece, but it does create decks or games like this one where we would have never ever lost if those lands were just like islands and forests and stuff. But that's why Cephalid Breakfast is good. It has all these angles. Okay, they didn't shuffle Ponder. Okay, if I'm going to Edict through this Daze, I can't cast Preordain. All right, so I guess Tamiyo's just dead then. It's okay. I have a spare. All right, I will leave Tamiyo on top, and I'll pass. I guess I want them to sacrifice a token creature before anything else happens. Each opponent sacrifices a creature token of their choice. This is happening this turn anyway, so let's just do it before they have another look at Force of Will. Okay. Construct's still big enough thanks to double Shuko. Exactly kills Tamiyo here. But she's already been worth 4 cards. Like, there's the Tamiyo herself, the clue she drew, and she bought back 2 removal spells. It took 2 Ursa Sagas to get this far against the Tamiyo, but they have got there. Alright, fetch land. They do have a lot of terrifying draws in their deck. And Illusionist and Nadu are both instant wins. I gotta hope that their hand is kind of clogged up with Dread Returns and Narcomoebas and stuff. Yeah, they just milled over Thassa's Oracle. Ponder. Did not shuffle Ponder. Terrifying. I'm going to start with Preordain. Molten Collapse. Well, that gets me stable. Okay, I don't think I want this land. I'll take the Collapse. I will... Oh, I can't kill a Shuko. Wait. No, I can't kill a Shuko. I didn't do whatever this is called. Descend. I'll destroy this creature. Okay, I had to spend 4 cards working my way through 2 Urza Sagas. 2 of those cards came off the Tamiyo, though, so it's, you know, we're gaming. Another Saga, no! My nemesis. Now they're showing hardcast Force of Will if they have one of those, but if there's a Force in their hand, I'm in some big trouble anyway. All right, Tamiyo plus land. I'm going to be pretty aggressively cracking clues starting next turn. I'm going to hit my land drops here. And I know they have Daze in their hand. Flooded Strand. Cling to Dust. The Thassa's Oracle's already in their graveyard. That gives me a lot of relief versus one aspect of their deck. The card Nadu still completely ends my life, though. I can flip Tamiyo right now, but I don't think I even want to do that because she'll just die to a construct. Alright, I am not going to flip Tamiyo. I am going to pass the turn. Now I'm weirdly hoping they do draw Cephalid Illusionist and go all in. But I am starting to fall behind. The 3rd Urza Saga, I think, is going to get it done. That Miser's Dress Down is in my deck somewhere. Flame of Anor is excellent. That will kill both constructs. They might not actually have any artifacts left to tutor, though. Making a construct. I guess I'll fetch here. I don't think they main deck a Pithing Needle. They had 2 chances to get it when it would have been good and got Shukos instead. But just in case. I like Thunder Trap Trainer. That's a lot of options. Yeah, failed to find. I am unsurprised. They've had so many draws, though. If they find Nadu plus Force, that's bad. It's also bad that they could just attack me for 6, 12, 16 over 2 turns. All right, I can't afford to kick this trainer. That plays right into their days. That's a blocker. Dress Down is a non-creature spell. Cling to Dust, Ponder, Thoughtseize. Do I have the life total to mess with Thoughtseize here? And Cling to Dust can gain 3. I think I need Ponder. All right, Ponder in the grip. Cast it off Thundering Falls. Rainstorm and another trainer. Another trainer blocks extremely well. Or blocks well enough to get me another turn. But it does tap me out of Force plus Cling. I'll take it. And I'm going to leave up my 2 removal colors. All right, well, there's Dress Down. Put that in the bank and try to survive this turn is the game plan. I'm not interested in blocking with Tamiyo. She's going in. That's a little bit of a risk. Like now Swords to Plowshares is a card I have to fight over, but I think I have to take some risks. I'm pretty far behind. All right, spreading the Shuko love around. Another land. Okay, we're in combat. And we're in blocks. All right, block everything with block everything. I'm not going to go to 2 here. The Thunder Traps are already 2 for 1s. They found the card they needed to. Just don't kill me with Nadu right now. All right. So this is awkward. I could Cling the Thassa's Oracle. And then they Daze. If I force this, they force back. They might pitch Daze. I'm actually more scared of Nadu than I am of Illusionist. Okay, they're fetching Nomad. That doesn't change anything here. 2 cards in hand. They can't have Force and Daze now. It's one or the other. And lists don't generally play Narcomoeba anymore. Or Narcomoeba, of course they play Narcomoeba. Cabal Therapy. I'm in the zone here. Just saying the wrong words. There is Memory's Journey, so the Cling to Dust isn't just lights out by itself. But if I can get them to commit the Dread Return to the stack, and there's Dread Return in the graveyard right now. If the last card in their hand is Ponder, they still don't have triple blue, so I don't care about that either. If their hand is 2 Dazes, that's bad. Okay, their deck is down to 3. All right, there's all the cards. Okay, I could just force the Dread Return. Then what happens? They don't have 2 of those. Yeah, I'm actually going to do it like that. I'm going to force the Dread Return. If they force back, then I can exile Oracle. I could probably deduce their hand at this point. Okay, they do have Force. Then I'll Cling to Dust the Oracle, which they'll Memory's Journey away, but then they're going to lose over the next 2 turns to the Dress Down that I have. Yeah, there's no Dread Return in their deck anymore. They can't draw a card right now. If I wanted to for sure exile the Oracle, the turn to do that would have been when, or the time to do that would have been when Nomad was on the stack. If they make a pile that's like Nadu, Thassa's Oracle. Oh, they targeted only Thassa's Oracle. You literally know my hand is Dress Down. Can they draw a card somehow right now that I've missed? All right. I guess I am in trouble to the constructs. Or no, it literally doesn't matter. I just play Dress Down in my end step and they can't win because they'll deck themselves. All right, yeah, we're fine. All right, attack with Tamiyo. And then in the end step, I'll cast Dress Down. I could also do it on their turn, in combat, in their upkeep, when Thassa's Oracle on the stack. It basically doesn't matter. Okay, go. Yeah, I think what they needed to do there was shuffle 2 Nadus and Thassa's Oracle into the deck, and then they have multiple things they have to answer multiple times. Yep, that resolves. That's an ability. Awkward pause. Opponent's reading all the cards that are in play. We got a nice. Yeah, Dress Down works against Thassa's Oracle. Okay, that was a pretty grindy game where we worked the hard way through 3 Urza Sagas. I guess finding the Dress Down for the last one, that's not really the hard way. That's the easy way. Okay, I don't care a lot about the graveyard part of the deck. They frequently board out a lot of that, and I'm really good at stopping it. What I want to make sure doesn't happen here is I don't get just smoked by Nadu value gaming. I can cut some number of Force of Wills because I'm just getting more efficient answers in. I've got Graveyard Hate in the main. I've got tons of removal, both edicts and damage-based and not damage-based. Thoughtseize is great. I don't think I need this Lorien revealed. I need some forces because Nadu doesn't need to be in play for very long to go nuts sometimes. Like, even if it resolves and I have the Shoulder's Edict immediately, it might draw 16 cards. So I gotta respect that. Consigned to Memory can beat the fair non-graveyard combo. Like, Nadu can just flip their deck into play and into their hand, then they cast Thassa's Oracle without ever going through the graveyard. That's a thing. Price of Progress is interesting versus specifically that. If every land in their deck's in play, Price of Progress is definitely going to do a lot of damage. I don't think burning them out is my plan, though. Maybe I cut a Kaito. Squeezing them out is the plan, and Thundertrap Trainers and Snapcasters eventually attack for damage. Consign is quite good versus Saga, too, though, which is the only reason that last game was even competitive. I am bringing in another Dress Down and Barrogoyf, both of which are good against Saga, because Barrogoyf is just bigger than their constructs most of the time, because they don't play that many artifacts. I think I'm going to do it like this, though I could see conversations about several of the other cards on my sideboard. Thoughtseize Cling to Dust. Love it. Blooded Strand. I think in a world where their deck has days in it, they could have Veil of Summer. If they didn't develop a Shuko or Nomad on turn 1, I don't really have to respect their turn 2 that much. Cavern. This will probably name Wizard. We're both Wizard decks. Cavern on Wizard confirmed. Yep, that is the Wizard I didn't want to see. I'm going to fetch the Undercity Sewer in the end step. Ooh, the Wizard. I like seeing her on my side. I'll keep that on top. Okay. Underground Sea to play around days. Thoughtseize you. Thoughtseize much worse when Tamio's already in play. They can't Veil of Summer here. They could Force of Will. Alright, Force, Illusionist, Brainstorm, Ending. No lands. I probably want to take the Force of Will here. And luckily, because this Prismatic Ending's here, I'm not even tempted to play my Tamio. Alright, I'll take your Force. There's 2 Brainstorms, an Ending, and an Illusionist. I have the Cling to Dust to blow out Illusionist again. If they... Well, they can't Illusionist here. Or I guess they can with the help of Brainstorm. Yeah, if they go Land Nomad here, this Brainstorm would have to find Land Nomad and then also Days or Force of Will. All 3 cards would have to be really important for Cling to Dust to not save me here. Of course, if they just shove Nadu, I'm in trouble. Flooded Strand, that's new. The other Brainstorm. I do have Shoulder's Edict and 2 Pyroblasts in my deck to fight this Tamio now, but that is an emerging issue. I'm about to untap into Dress Down, which I really like, so I'm going to use Cling to Dust now to draw a card. I'm just going to cycle it off. There we go. Red Blast. A Volcanic Island and Pass, I think, is my play. Do I think they're going to rebuy with Tamio or race straight to the top? Hedge Maze. Dumped a Redundant Illusionist. I think they're going to plus Tamio. If they minus, I'll regret not acting sooner, but if I can get them on the hook for a bunch of pluses and then just kill her while she's at 8, rules. Yeah, they plussed. Alright, I'll kill her now because I have Snapcaster in my hand and Snap Red Blast answers most of the things I'm scared about from their deck. Tamio's dead. Yeah, she didn't even make a clue. They played it, they brainstormed in my end step, flipped her, plussed her twice. This Tamio just traded for Red Blast. That's about as good as that can get. Okay, Snap Red Blast around Days or develop Tamio. I'm going to develop Tamio. Both of my Surveil lands, regrettably, are accounted for. The one in my hand makes this Polluted Delta in play a little stinky. They did keep the Prismatic Ending from that earlier Brainstorm. I've got more Tamios, don't worry. Alright, I am not going to do anything in the end step. Ponder. I like that card. Okay, Ponder. A bunch of lands. I kind of want one of these. Do I want any of these? I have a land. Alright, I'm going to shuffle. Okay, flip Tamio. Risk preordaining into a miss. Or just hold up Dress Down. Alright, I'm going to hold up Dress Down for the turn playing around Days. Scalding Tarn I don't need. Okay, I'll pass the turn. And I think next turn is where I start taking over. At least I hope that's how this works out. That's the plan I've built. There's a construct. I'm going to fetch now. I think I'm going to get Badlands just to round out the colors. Perfect colors. And I'll let them do their tutor. If they get Shuko and then try to develop Illusionist, that's something I can mess with. All right, looks like I'm just taking some damage. I'm leaving up blue-red. Maybe a red-black was better. Okay, my spell resolved, so it doesn't matter. I think red-black might have been better to leave up, though. All right, well, Tamio's flipping. Tamio. Ponder. Thoughtseize is a great find here. Do not shuffle. I'm going to preordain into that Force of Will as well, as my opponent has the uncounterable win that I'm already aware of. Force pitching Tamio, land plus Tamio, Thoughtseize you. Ooh, force pitching Cephalid Illusionist. I think I got a force back here. There's so many cards that could be in their hand that just beat me right now, and I hope they're not holding two of them. Ah, they are! Shit! I guess I gotta take my chances versus Nadu, because Illusionist is deterministic. Wow, alright, well. We're in trouble, team. Needed their hand to be one card worse than it was. Yeah, Nadu with at least two flips coming. Nadu hit Flooded Strand and hit Dread Return. Okay, good news. No, don't cast Nomad! Don't cast Nomad! Oh, this looks like Prismatic Ending, which also isn't good, but at least it's not Nomad. Alright. We're on the slow Nadu, which means there's a chance. Okay, fetching doesn't help me. I'll draw Thundertrap Trainer. I could kick this now. I don't think I can afford to kick this. I have to just... Now I am going to fetch. Maybe I should have from the jump. All right, Trainer, get 4 looks at a million answers, and Revolt is on now. All right, come on, fella. Red Blast, Shieldred's Edict, Fatal Push. I guess Brainstorm keeps the party going. Brainstorm. Come on, deck. Flame of Anor. Destroy target artifact and Nadu. Shuko, Nadu. They get a flip here. It's Nomad's Encore. Oh my god. Well, destroying the Shuko didn't matter because they found Nomad. Alright, don't draw a freaking Nadu right now. Oh my god. Oh my god. You're messing with me. Untap these lands. This is a joke. This is a joke. And I don't think it's funny. Oh my god. Alright. Sometimes you do everything you can and you still lose. This is at least 8 cards. Saga, Misty, Narcomoeba. They can cast Narcomoeba and get 4 more flips off it. 2 now and then 2 on my turn. Casting Ponder instead. I can't imagine this game's winnable from this position. Remember when I killed their Targeter and their Nadu, and then the top 2 cards of their deck were Fresh Nadu, Fresh Targeter? That was a lot of fun. Okay, Cling to Dust is a rebuy, but there's nothing to target, and there's a Nadu in their hand. Alright, I'm just going to play my land and hope they mess up. Like, if they somehow fumble the bag from this position, which I don't even know how that's possible. Alright, now there's a force in their hand. Okay. I could beat 2 Nadus, but they had 3. They still have at least some of the graveyard combo in. I think my plan is still a good one. Consign to Memory is the last card I'm thinking about. I could push that through them having like 20 cards in hand. If I replicate 4 or 5 times, they might not be able to stop that. That assumes they go all the way in on a Thassa's Oracle in a spot where I have exactly Consigned to Memory, and then countering some of the chapters on Urza's Saga is pretty good. Right, I'm not doing that. I'm believing in the plan and just trusting in reasonable distribution instead of whatever just happened from my opponent there. All right, keep hand rules. There's not a lot their deck can do on turn 1 that I care about, so I'm going to develop Tamio before I start Thoughtseizing. And then I have Thoughtseize plus Red Blast available next turn. Like, maybe they just Prismatic Ending the Tamio, but that's the sub-game anyway. The real game is Nadu. Ponder, fine. Worked out as well as it could. Like, if I were going to Thoughtseize on turn 1, I'm not going to take Prismatic Ending to protect Tamio over taking a Nadu. So why even do it at all? Right. Thoughtseize you now. I can protect my Thoughtseize with Red Blast. Okay, there's Nadu, multiple forces, and Brainstorm. Obviously, I'm taking Nadu. There is a Saga over there that I'm not excited about. If they cast Brainstorm on their turn, I think I might Red Blast it. Their hand is pretty bad right now, and they might have to force it just to do anything. And if they settle into Saga Gaming, that's pretty slow. Okay. I have Molten Collapse available now. I'm going to attack with Tamiyo, then I'm going to cast Ponder and hope it finds me a land with which to flip Tamiyo. Ponder. We found a land and Force and Dress Down. Those are 3 good cards in a row. Don't shuffle. Do crack. I have Force up right now, but not Red Blast. They would have had to, in their last 2 draw steps, drawn Shuko and Nomad to lose this turn. Brainstorm. I mean, I don't love that. That gives them a lot more looks at Shuko plus Nomad, which right now the coast is clear for them to try to do. Like, this turn right now is a very important one. Like, just resolving Nadu is mostly okay. Passing with Saga up is completely okay. All right, sweet. I am gonna plus Tamiyo and pass. I have Dress Down that I can protect with Red Blast, and I still have Force Blue card left over after the dust settles. I think this is a Protect the Queen game. Okay, Construct. My opponent has not yet demonstrated not making every construct they could. Like, this might be a spot, depending on what their hand looks like right now, where you just make 1 construct because it's free, and then on your turn use your mana for real stuff. All right, we are committed to making constructs in this house. Shuko. Going for the equip, I'll Dress Down. This is happening anyway, so let's just do it. Force pitching Brainstorm. This is eating a Red Blast. And if they have another Force, so do I. Force pitching Cephalid Illusionist. All right, Force pitching Kaito. Wizard battle! 6 objects on the stack. And I win. I win the battle, at least. I have not won the game yet. They could still combo me out. It's a lot harder through Fatal Push and Molten Collapse, though. Kept a card on top, and we've seen a Savannah in the past. Scalding Tarn's excellent. All right, we are... If they try to combo me, Plussing's the best thing I can do. If they kept Prismatic Ending on top, then I guess they're Hellbent, and we just put them in check. It's Scalding Tarn. I'm going to kill the Shuko. I still have Fetch Push that could hit a Nadu or Illusionist. Savannah. All right, 2 cards. We didn't know either of them. There's Nadu. Show me the Nomad. I know you have it. All right. Well, we played to this possibility. No cards in hand, but I have to play around the worst case scenario where, like, what if Nadu flips Daze? So I will just get another Underground Sea, and I'll Fatal Push Nadu right now. I flipped another Nadu. Okay. Hopefully I'll be able to Thoughtseize them before that matters. I'm going to draw half my deck here. But once again, a Nadu player with 3 Nadus in their top 18 cards of their deck. Pretty normal stuff. All right, cool. We got the GGs. They figured their Nadu's not going to get through. That one was a tight battle. Ugh. That deck is stressful to play against when you're playing Fair Magic. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
On the draw with a full house, Scalding Tarns full of Force of Wills. I will keep, and I'll survive turn 1 here, and then I get to ponder and see what's going on. Plenty of land drops to make decisions with if the game goes into the mid-game, which is what I'm hoping for in all games with this deck. Birds of Paradise off of a Savannah. Interesting. All right, I am going to fetch a non-basic island and cast Ponder here. Kaito and a bunch of lands. Nope. Shuffle that. I'm looking for one of the million spot removal spells I play. Any deck with Birds of Paradise is one where Lightning Bolt is going to be okay. This could be like a mid-range Nadu deck. I played against a Devoted Druid combo deck the other day. Could be doing that. Another bird. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. That's tricky because now if I force a Devoted Druid, they can give one of their other creatures its abilities, but Flame of Anor can clean that up at some point. Okay, I'm going to Thoughtseize first. I want to know what's going on over there before I ponder or make any additional decisions. Port of Calling, clearly the card that's going to go here. They've got Sylvan Safekeeper and land left over. And I'll cast this Ponder now. 2 Brainstorms and a Thundering Falls. I like that. Don't shuffle and pass. The Safekeeper is really good against spot removal, and it being in the graveyard, like if I force it, it doesn't matter. But their hand currently doesn't do anything. They need whatever combo piece they were looking for. The Shep. Well, that guy's good. Can't counter it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're almost to the point where they can make Allosaurus Shepherd a 5/5 until end of turn. Alright, Brainstorm, fix everything. B-Storm. This is not fixing everything. Snapcaster Mage, pretty bad versus Agatha's Soul Cauldron, but pretty good with Flame of Anor. I'll put back 2 lands. I'm going to fetch. Do I want the bad lands to maximize my removal here? Do I care about removal? Yeah, I think pressuring their mana with spot removal is good enough that I am going to get bad lands, and then I'll Brainstorm. A Fatal Push secured. Put some lands away. I'm going to push this Allosaurus Shepherd. They'll probably just sack a land and save it, but let's make them do it. Oh, this actually would have been a lot better to wait a turn. Because if I, at 4 mana, if I push a creature in their ends, in my end step or their end step, whoever's turn it is, doesn't matter, and then they tap their Soul Cauldron to exile my Fatal Push, then I Snap Push in response. I could have wiggled around this a little bit. Yeah, they just took the card that's good. I can unlock that with Flame of Anor eventually. Dumped a Nomad, but any of their creatures can become Nomad with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Just please don't draw Nadu. I'm sick of people drawing Nadu against me. All right, another Shep. That's fine. I wonder if Nadu Elves did showed up in a challenge recently or something. Why am I suddenly playing against this deck multiple times in a league? Okay. I think here I play Scalding Tarn and pass. Okay, they're exiling their own Nomad here. This could be a window for me to snap Brainstorm, but if they draw exactly Nadu, I'm gonna hate my life. I am gonna snap Brainstorm here while they're tapped out, because I want this wizard in play so I can do 2 things. I don't just want to shatter the Soul Cauldron. Brainstorm. Dress Down's quite good if we ever get there. I'll put back Sewer and Force of Will. The Force of Will, stinky right now. This is, once again, here we are. This is the turn that matters. Please don't draw Nadu. Dress Down is also a massive beating versus Sylvan Safekeeper, because I could put Flame of Anor on the stack targeting something, and then they sack a land to give it Shroud, then I play Dress Down to take Shroud off it. And you basically just, when removal plus Dress Down is available to you, you're just guaranteed a 2-for-1. Okay. Bestowing Spring Heart and Tuco's fine. I can live with that. The only attack here is Birds of Paradise. Oh, okay. I guess you don't need 2 Shepherds. Yeah, that makes sense. And the wizard in play is worth something. My opponent clearly knows about Flame of Anor. I'm going to fetch my Thundering Falls here because I have plenty of Underground Seas already. Cling to Dust does not matter here. Thoughtseize also pretty embarrassing. Okay, Underground Sea. If I attack and they block with Sylvan Safekeeper, I could damn near rat their board. None of their other creatures are good blockers. Yeah, Safekeeper is not the one you want to be blocking with. Yeah, they just took 2. Deal. And I'll pass the turn. Now my shields are properly up. They've done enough damage that they might be able to go wide here and do some messy stuff to me. Gaia's Cradle. They could pay mana to copy Birds of Paradise. This is actually terrible because now Allosaurus Shepherd works. Uh-oh. All right. Well, that draw was specifically and uniquely horrific for me because now they just attack me for 10. Oh my god. They can attack me for 7 here because I can flame in response. It doesn't even have to be in response, I guess, because it makes them 5/5s. All right. You've got a 5/5. Got 2 5/5s. There's no creatures in the graveyard. That's very important right now. Okay, Flame of Anor. Deal 5, destroy target artifact. Destroy Soul Cauldron, kill one of the Sheps. Does the Shep even matter? I can't kill both of them. Oh yeah, it's literally attacking me for lethal. Yeah, it matters. Okay. Blue, red, colorless. All right, timing does matter here. I have to let that resolve. And now I can dress down. They're exiling Brainstorm from my graveyard. Sure. Dress down. And Guy's Cradle off the top to suddenly 10-ball me. I hate that. And my hand is not very good against what they're showing. That attack with Snapcaster didn't save me anything. Like, their creatures either fly or are too big. I guess I could have chumped for 5, but I can do that next turn. I'm just over here ready for them to top deck Nadu now, and instead, they top deck Guy's Cradle. You can't win! Okay, their creatures have no abilities. Shieldred's Edict. Not very good. 2 creatures dead. I take 7. I go to 2. I'm dead to their flying Birds of Paradise. Alright, I need, what, a Lightning Bolt? But that doesn't even help because now Safekeeper's back online. Alright, Cling to Dust gaining life does matter a little bit. Alright, sacrifice a non-token creature. All of their creatures are worth mana here because of the Cradle. Some of them are worth 2 mana, like the Birds of Paradise. Yeah, okay, Birds of Paradise is gone. I have a blocker and I have Cling to Dust. They have 4, 5 mana available right now. 6 if they tap the bird. Yavimaya gives them enough mana to activate the Shep and still attack with the bird. I have to block Shepherd. And then I go to 2. I Cling to Dust, Allosaur, Shepherd from your graveyard. Treading Water. I don't like it. I think I just have completely no outs, but I'm going to keep playing. Alright, that's not one of them. Alright, GG's. A lot to manage over there. And once again, my deck has no sweepers of any kind. Barrogoyf, Dress Down, Grafdigger's Cage. Cage is awkward because they have, like, Court of Calling, but I have Snapcaster and Cling. We saw Soul Cauldron, which means Cling isn't completely pointless, but I also am not a big believer in it. Another grindy, removal-heavy creature deck. Creature matchup. Yeah, I might just go 0 Clings here. Barrogoyf, Dress Down, Grafdigger's Cage. Pyroblast can hit Nadu, but they're not really casting blue spells. Alright, yep, this is what I'm doing. Right, keep. Hopefully these Thoughtseizes are early enough to matter. Badlands for my colors, Thoughtseize you. Bird, Hierarch, Cord, Nomad. I'll take Nomad now. And I can take the Cord next turn. Okay, drop Hierarch. If they go land, that's a Cord for 0. If they go Bird, Cradle, that's a Cord for 1. Yeah, I think I do have to already take the Cord. I like this Scalding Tarn. Thoughtseize you again. Take the Cord. And his Birds of Paradise and lands. All mana. Bird. Probably going to bash for 1. I hope to put an end to that shortly with Thundertrap Trainer. And I am going to fetch for Undercity Sewer here, even though that is a fetch land for Brainstorm. I also have Thundertrap Trainer for Brainstorm. Another one. I'll take that guy. Okay, I'm going to start with Brainstorm. Molten Collapse, Force Tameo. These cards are sweet. All right, what do I want my opponent to know about? If I put back Collapse and Trainer, and then play Trainer, I can buy the Collapse and then have Tameo blue card. Yeah, Molten Collapse into my hand, guaranteed. That rolled out a little awkwardly, but I think it'll be okay. Edge kept a card. The Shep, can't counter it. All right, is your unknown card going to kill me right now? All right, they know I can remove Shepherd. This Tameo. Okay, so the Shepherd can just start ranching for 5. If I play Tameo, Brainstorm, flip Tameo, hit a land to collapse the Shepherd, that's the best of all worlds. And Thundertrap Trainer can jump. All right, I'm going to go for it with Tameo. Nice. Always delivers, never worried. Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, go back. Plus Tameo, cast Molten Collapse. I have Descended, but it doesn't matter in this particular turn. Okay. Force is back on. I guess I'm supposed to attack for 1 there. Like, the block doesn't matter. Nadu, no, thank you. Even if there's nothing going on with it now, no thank you. Forest from hand. The attack does not work. Fatal Push, we knew that was there. I think I want to race to the roof here. I've got a removal spell. I can draw my deck turn after next. They're floundering over there. If they spike something like Nadu, I could take a turn off to buy back Molten Collapse and get back to work. Oh no. Oh no. This is a massive Court of Calling. Just hoof from hand. That was a lot of mana. A Zenith for Atraxa? Is that an angle this deck has? I'm not ready for that shit. They could actually just hardcast Atraxa here. They have blue, green, white, black across their mana dorks. Zenith for 3. Sad. Keen-Eyed Curator. Alright. Rat's off to you. It's not a rat, it's a raccoon. Same shit. Alright, I think I'm just going to push this Keen-Eyed Curator. This works. They currently can't do anything about it. They could exile some stuff from my graveyard on the way out, but fine, take it. Alright, opponent is Hellbent. I am also Hellbent. Plus Tamiyo. Suspend 1, win the game. Gotta fade 1 draw. And I don't know what their 1 draw could be. I'm not saying none exist. I'm saying I don't know what it could be, because it can't be Nadu and Shuko, or Nadu and Nomad. If they draw another Zenith or Court of Calling and have something like Leovold in their deck, that could blow me out, but alright, cool. We got away with it. On the draw now. Green Sun Zenith confirmed in their deck. I was pretty sure it was there, but we only saw Court of Calling game 1. Pretty happy with Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah, I think this is what I got. Short of doing something really experimental, like bring in the Price of Progresses and try to burn them out, like Pop Snap Pop might get them with their mana base, but I'm not gonna try to cheese that when I think we have this other plan available. All right, Thoughtseize, Dress Down. 2 of my better cards. Drop Hierarch. My mana's really bad in this hand, though. I'm deciding if I should just fetch Underground Sea right now to give myself a chance of double spelling next turn. I think I am going to do that. This makes it awkward if I draw a red card specifically. But if I don't draw anything useful, I'd like to be able to Tamiyo with the Surveil Land up. Okay, Nadu, Soul Cauldron, Plow. I'm taking the Nadu. Nadu does not have abilities that translate through Soul Cauldron. And I don't care how many Nomads they have if they don't have a Nadu. I do kind of care how many Noble Hierarchs they have. That's just cheese beats. Knowing their hand is Plow makes this first Tamiyo a little worse, but I do have 2 of them. Ooh. We could be in the trap. I think getting something going here, Thunder Trap Trainer, is where I want to be. Big Digs. Force of Will, bank it. Cool. No Shepherd in sight. Their creatures are bigger than Thunder Trap Trainer here. Both Exalted makes it a 2/3, and there's a Nadu in the graveyard. They can make a 3/4 in combat. Once Upon a Time. I don't think I'm fighting over that. Because from here, they'd either have to select Shepherd with that to play around Force, or get something forcible. And get something forcible is what they did. But it is Nadu. The typical experience of them having 2 to 4 copies in their top 12 cards of their deck. That's Nadu, baby. I'm not blocking. Flame of Venor is too good to worry about 2 life over. 3 life over. They are committing to these beats. It would be awesome if they just Swords of Plowshares this Thunder Trap Trainer. I think that's a really bad play, but I'm just saying it would be awesome if that happened. Children's Edict. I want that at some point. Do I want that at some point? I don't think so. All right. I am going to play Tamiyo and pass. If they thread the needle, if they top deck exactly freaking Allosaurus Shepherd right now, I accept my fate, but I do want to get them playing Magic over there and unlock this other Tamiyo in my hand. If I don't make them do it, then it's like they just have infinite Swords of Plowshares if I never play a Tamiyo into one. I dumped a Bird of Paradise. All right, don't play Allosaurus Shepherd right now. Any other card is fine. All right, I said any other card is fine. Did I mean it? I could pitch a Tamiyo, the other Force, or Dress Down here. I think I have to pitch a Dress Down because if they drew Veil of Summer, I need my possibilities open. All right, Allosaurus Shepherd and Veil of Summer were the cards I didn't want to see there. And I played around one of them at the expense of Dress Down, which is one of my best tools in the matchup. But it's better than losing. Right, taking massive beats. Are they going to pile on? They didn't pile on anymore. Oh, nice. Nice. Tameo, immediately flipper. Get to work. Fatal Push, love that. I'm going to put back Scalding Tarn and Dress Down. Or I could go Force of Will Dress Down and play my land. No, I'm going to go Scalding Tarn Dress Down. That leaves Force Blue card in my hand, and I can Fatal Push something this turn. Alright. We got them in the squeeze now. I'm doing something. I was in survival mode, now I'm in win mode. Exiling Birds of Paradise. With Exalted, it makes sense to pile up onto the same creature over and over. So I'm going to let them go ahead and do that. A big attack onto Tameo. I am just going to push this fatally. Forest from hand. This Noble Hierarch could attack for... It gets one by itself, and then they have 2 Soul Cauldron taps before next combat. This could attack for 2. But trying to minus Tameo into the Soul Cauldron doesn't make sense. Right, I'm going to play block Big Booty Tameo. This is bigger than Noble Hierarch in combat. And Trainer can chip shot now. I guess they could just block and do +1. It doesn't die, but it is... Okay, cool. They didn't take the block. They could have just touched butts with the Thunder Trap, but maybe that attack was bait and I do something out of my graveyard, like go land, snap, push, second main. It was definitely correct not to block there without knowing my hand. Okay, you're attacking with a 1-2. That can become a 2-3. I'll block with my 0-3. Birds of Paradise. That's a flying attacker, but my blocker also has flying. There's the Scalding Tarn we knew about. And it's Protect the Queen for 1 turn here. I've got 2 blockers, a Force of Will, and they've got 2 attackers. I feel good here, but it could get weird. We got the GGs. All right. Tameo holding the fort again. Like I said in the deck tech, this is what Legacy's about right now. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/TheResleevables. On the play in round 4 with a tragic no-lander, I'll mulligan. Come on, deck. We're going to 5. Alright, keep. I'm going to get rid of Kaito and Snapcaster Mage. And I'm going to Thoughtseize my opponent off of a basic swamp, which might be cowardly, but I'm on 5 cards here. Alright, we are against Reanimator, who has Entomb, Reanimate, Force of Will. It's interesting they didn't force this Thoughtseize. Like, I'm on 5. What are you worried about? You have the turn 2 combo protected by everything. Alright, I guess I have to take Entomb. This is not the deck you want to mull to 5 against. This is the best deck in the format who also has their nut hand. Perfect. Even Tameo on the backup, so it's like, you know, who even cares if I Thoughtseize? This Hedge Mace is interesting, though. That card is not normally in Dimir Reanimator. Well, there's Tameo. All right, my options here are Ponder, looking for exactly Fatal Push, or just get the Thunder Trap Trainer developed, and I'm going to develop Trainer. They could force my Trainer and reanimate it and get one of the cards back off that exchange. That's pretty nasty. But I'm not going to play around that. Trainer, found a Brainstorm, put 2 lands and Tameo on the bottom of my deck randomly. I wonder if that Hedge Maze is for something like Carpet of Flowers or Veil of Summer out of the sideboard. It's just very suspicious that it's in the deck. Okay, here goes Ponder. We're no longer sure that they have a blue card to go with their Force, though we could reasonably deduce it. Ponder didn't shuffle, so this might just entomb something here. Okay. If they want to reanimate Murktide Regent, they're welcome to it. Tamiyo didn't attack, so they're respecting Kaito enough to leave Tamiyo on defense. I drew the best card I could possibly have. This will definitely flush out the Force of Will. Or I could spend some time sculpting and try to do something better with that. All right, I'm going to ponder. I have so much removal in this deck. Yeah, there's a Fatal Push, a follow-up Flame. Okay. And I could snap Ponder. All right. Flame, snap, push. Don't shuffle. Play Mountain. Fatal Push, Tamiyo. They could decide if this is worth a Force of Will. They could also just reanimate their Tamiyo and not really care. But all I could do is try to deconstruct them if they're farting around over there. But if they pondered into Entomb, it barely matters. But Hedge Maze doesn't cast Entomb or reanimate, which is a weird reason to include it in your deck. Or a reason to not include it in your deck. All right, you drew Entomb. Good job. Whatever. Okay. All right, Mull to 5 versus the best deck in the format who also drew really well. What are you going to do? I'm going to bring in Barrogoyf. I want Surgical. I want Cage. Dress Down is interesting. Though I'm not a white deck. I like Dress Down versus Reanimator in white decks where you can stuff the Atraxor Archon ETB trigger and then plow it and it's gone forever. If I stuff their ETB trigger and then Molten Collapse or Shoulder's Edict it, they just reanimate it again. And I haven't done enough. Yeah, I think fighting over the Tamiyos with Pyroblast is something I strongly want to be interested in. A Force of Will. I can shave on those. We like Cling to Dust. I'm actually going down 2 forces. Dress Down could help me get good exchanges versus Barrogoyfs that they're probably going to board in. Like that lets Lightning Bolt kill a Barrogoyf. I don't think that's enough of a reason to keep it in my deck, though. I got a bunch of ways to kill Barrogoyf. I really like Kaito here. I think I can get rid of Alorian Revealed. Am I going to go down to 1 force? Maybe. Thoughtseizes, Cling to Dust, Grafdigger's Cage, Pyroblast, Surgical. Force is really bad against the Barrogoyf Tamiyo part of their deck, and it's fine versus the Reanimator part of their deck. Alright, I'll try this. Alright, keep. I drew the 1 force with no blue card to go with it. Magic is awesome. This hand's not great into Wasteland, but I do get to Thoughtseize them before anything else happens. Alright, Bayou. So this is like an actual green deck. Entomb, Tamiyo, Carpet of Flowers. Yeah, I don't want to play against that Carpet of Flowers. I would love to take this Tamiyo. I guess I could just Edict the Tamiyo. Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to take Carpet. I have Surgical for their Entomb. I have Edict for their Tamiyo. And then their hand is Ponder, Brazen Borrower. Okay, they led on Ponder, not even putting the Tamiyo out there into the world at first. Which is great, because my Edict wasn't really ready, because my next land enters tapped. Didn't shuffle Ponder. Blue to Delta. I think I'd rather get Thundering Falls in now, so I could definitely cast Barrogoyf next turn. Yeah, Red Blast on top. I'll take it. They can't Entomb Reanimate from Island. I guess they could go Bayou, Carpet, second Maid, 2 black, Entomb Reanimate. There's Tamiyo. I'm kind of ready to battle Tamiyo. Obviously, the Brainstorm business sucks. I'm just going to pass here. If they Entomb in the end step, I'll blow up Tamiyo in response. Alright, now I have to decide when and how I'm going to do this. If I Edict Tamiyo, I don't want to do that though. Alright, I could let them have 1 blue to make sure I don't just freaking die. Tamiyo's such a beast. Card sucks so hard to play against. Alright, beginning of combat. I'll Red Blast Tamiyo. If they get me with a Brainstorm here, I still have the Edict. Of course they have Brainstorm. There was never any doubt in anyone's mind. And I have this awful Force of Will in my hand instead of a Fatal Push or just one of the many cards that I'd rather have in this matchup. Right, Tamiyo plussed. Am I going to play around Daze here? I probably should. I'll get Undercity Sewer and just Edict on my turn. Cling to Dust. I guess I'll take that. That gives me 2 shots versus their Entomb. Each opponent sacrifices a Planeswalker of their choice. Cool. Tamiyo's dead. We did it, team. End step Bowmaster. Don't like that one, but I could put Barrogoyf in front of it. Entomb in the upkeep, resolves. Trax is in the bin. Reanimate. I'll Cling to Dust in response. Alright, that's fizzled. Trax is gone. I gained 3 life. I used Cling instead of Surgical there because I could still Surgical after I Cling, and this way I could tap out for Barragoyf and still have Surgical up on their next turn. Blue card, blue card. Oh my god. All right, can we turn the corner with a well-placed Barragoyf? I know they have Brazen Borrower, but that's a temporary solution. Petty Theft, that's in my hand again. Bowmasters put me to 15. All right, I get to play around Daze now. They haven't had one the last 2 turns, but in case they draw it, here it is. We're back in. This is too big for Dismember. They have to get Revolt somehow for Fatal Push. Entomb in the end step. Okay. Surgical and Force now lined up against that. Oh, dumped an Uro. Good job, opponent. That's sick. All right, so they need another green source. Entombing for Uro in the mid-range is awesome. Big fan of that. Uro also exiles the enchantment that's in the graveyard and shrinks Barragoyf forever. Abrupt Decay. All right, they're showing me all of the green cards now. Right, this probably means I have to Surgical Uro now that Barragoyf is out of the mix. Or no, I have Clean to Dust in my graveyard. Yeah, I'm just going to go to my turn. Tamiyo. I like that eventually. All right, I'm going to Cling to Dust Uro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Snapcaster is my consideration for what I leave in the graveyard here. Daze. They did have it. Okay, that's fine. Surgical is still in my hand, and picking up a land with Daze means they can't Uro next turn. I get attacked down to 10 here, and the Brazen Borrower is now starting to be mild concern. Flame of Anor. Bowmaster triggers before it dies. Like, target player draws 2 is the first thing, and then deal 5 is the last thing. And it would see me draw cards before state-based actions are checked and kills that thing. So there are some concerns here, but I'll play Tamiyo. I can kill Orcish Bowmaster and flip Tamiyo right now, but then they have a 3/3 that's attacking me, and this Brazen Borrower is still out there in the world. I think I'm going to Surgical and try to get a feel for their hand, and then make informed decisions. Surgical Uro. It would be great if they try to kill Tamiyo in response to this. Their hand is Bowmaster Reanimate, and their deck is Generous Ents, Witherbloom Commands, another Carpet. They do not have an Archon of Cruelty. Big Reanimates are over. Bowmaster Reanimate. Okay. If they play this other Bowmaster right now, I get completely cooked. Though I do have Force of Will. So if they end up with a 3/3 Orc army, I flip Tamiyo, I plus Tamiyo, they attack her for 2. They could reanimate their Bowmaster for the other 2 points. Yeah, there's just not a play here for me. The Brazen Borrower. Now there might be a play. Like, I don't have to draw cards. I could just kill one of these things. Their hand is so good. Yeah, now flipping Tamiyo doesn't matter. Okay, I'm just going to pass. There are no creatures in graveyards to reanimate yet. Right, I'll block Bowmaster. I take 4. Oh, there was a Tamiyo in graveyards. Who knew? Okay. You have a Tamiyo now, and Bowmaster's still up. But now we could start fights over Bowmaster. Oh my god, a Brainstorm. Don't like that. Okay, how do I find a Lightning Bolt to start to free up this board somehow? If I play Thundertrap Trainer, I think this is a way to go. This leaves up all of my appropriate mana to kill a Bowmaster. Then I could force the other one, Brainstorm, and be gaming. Right, Molten Collapse. I'll put that in my hand. I am almost dead to this Brazen Borrower, though. All right, I have to kill Brazen Borrower or I lose. Because if I Force of Will, I'm at 1. Or I'm at 3. All right, yeah, I'm just going to have to find another way through these Bowmasters. We're almost stable here, though. But they also have a Tamiyo. So you're never that stable versus a Tamiyo. It didn't aggressively deploy Bowmaster. I like that. I think this is my fight right now. Okay, I'm going to block. And then I'll force the Bowmaster when they try to push it through to kill Thundertrap Trainer. And then I can untap Flame of Anor and just hope that Daze or Spell Pierce is at the card in their hand. Or another Reanimate to bring back another Bowmaster. Okay, there's that. Force pitching Brainstorm. Okay. Well, that one worked. I'm at 3. I took no damage that combat. Do they have the reanimate to blow me out the rest of the way? Another Bowmaster from hand. I think if they had 2 Bowmasters, they would have made their land drop pre-combat, though. Brainstorm. All right. So your Tameo flips. Not a bad last card to have. The Flame of Anor is not a bad last card to have either. 1 card in their hand. Thoughtseize. Fuck off. Chill out. Okay. I need a big draw. Lightning Bolt. That does kill the Bowmaster. It does not kill the Tameo. It does let me start Tameoing. Okay, I'm going to attack with my Tameo and not do anything else. This banks a clue, and I could pass. I have Cling to Dust available if they minus their Tameo, and I have a 1-2 in front of their 1-1 otherwise. Tameo does have this flavor text that if the instant or sorcery returned to your hand is green, you get a mana. Like, they could buy back Abrupt Decay here and actually get paid. Wasteland, that plays around what I just said. All right, I'll float a red. All right, I'm going to bolt the Bowmaster. This lets me draw a card. Maybe Tameo minuses gets reanimates Bowmaster. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe I spike another Cling to Dust off the top with my clue token. In reanimating, Bowmaster is not without risk here, because then Tameo's at 1 and you have to pass the turn. And my creature's power and toughness are intact. Okay, they are going for reanimate. I think I'm going to crack my clue in response. Cling to Dust off the top, Brainstorm. I do play Surgicals. All right, you've got your reanimate. They're cracking a clue before they do anything else. That's smart. I hope they didn't just draw Daze. Cycling Generous End. I don't give a shit if they reanimate that. Like, I'm so much more scared of Bowmaster. Okay, deal. You've got a Generous End. Okay, now we go to my turn. Blue to Delta, I like. Do I want to bank an extra clue? No, I have to Brainstorm before attacks. If I could push through and kill their Tameo right now, I win. A Molten Collapse, a Sheoldred's Edict. Kaito is almost what I want. I think I have to put back Land Kaito or Land Ponder, play Thundertrap Tainer, show them the Ponder. They don't know about Kaito. And then maybe they make a shitty attack next turn. All right, Land Ponder, go back. Tameo flips. Plus Trainer. The only card in their hand right now is Hedge Maze. I'll take Ponder. I don't have room for a Thoughtseize anymore. And pass. Tameo plus. That means they don't have to worry about my creatures. Wink, wink. Attacking my face. Probably the right call. I'll block. Going for lethal rather than fighting over my Bladeswalker makes some sense. Oh no. Shit. All right. Actually, am I worried about that? What's in my graveyard? Got Lightning Bolt. I don't have a Fatal Push in my graveyard. Dumped a Wasteland. All right, deck. Molten Collapse. That doesn't do it either, though. It doesn't not do it either. Hold on. Okay. If I Molten Collapse, Barrowgoyf, buy back Cling to Dust, Cling Barrowgoyf, I am at enough life that Generous End can hit me once and it's okay. But Tameo can minus to buy back reanimate Bowmaster, put me to 0 exactly if that happens. Barrowgoyf is as big as Generous End and Waste Carrier, so there's no consideration of hitting anything else here. I have the blocker. I guess I need the blocker, huh? Opponent has Abrupt Decay in their graveyard, so I actually can't beat Tameo in any direction here. What if I just plus my Tameo? What if I cast Ponder and plus Tameo? That, like, Ponder just doesn't do anything, is the problem. There's nothing I can hit that would answer 2 problems at once. And unlike my opponent, I don't have green cards. If I was targeting a green card with Tameo, this would all work. What could Ponder do? Like, I don't have a Bowmaster, which would be great, giving me 2 blocks. Oh, okay. So if they... Okay, I know what I have to do. Molten Collapse, the Barrowgoyf, get back Cling, but don't just immediately cast Cling on anything. All right, get back Cling. Now, if they Tameo back Abrupt Decay, I exile a creature from the graveyard. and stay alive for a turn. If they Tameo back Reanimate, I exile what they're targeting with Reanimate. Obviously, they have a draw step here, which makes everything harder. The life total's not there to do this same play with Surgical. Okay, they're going after Abrupt Decay. Yep. We knew that was possible. Did they draw a counterspell? Thundertrap Trainer is dead. Long live Thundertrap Trainer. I'm going to exile Orcish Bowmaster, because that's the one that kills me if it comes back, but they have two of them. All right, I'll target Barrowglyph. And I need them to not have a counterspell right now. They're tapping mana. Cool. All right, yep. Yeah, another instance of opponent drawing all the best cards they could possibly draw for like 4 consecutive turns when the game was otherwise close. But, I mean, that was a really cool match, and their green splash, entombing that Uro, made this game really complicated. Though, we're now on turn 12, and at no point have they had double green mana. Oh, no, they just picked up Hedgebase. No, okay. They did have double green mana briefly. All right. Another match decided by Tameo. We love Legacy right now. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in the final round. Positive record lock, playing for the bread and butter 4-1. Opponent says hi YouTube. Everyone say hi to Pew Pew 444. Underground Sea Tameo. I'm not quite at a place in life where I'm Force of Willing turn 1 Tameos yet, but I'm getting there. Right, I think I want to ponder off a Volcanic Island, give myself a chance to Molten Collapse next turn. My hand's soft to Wasteland no matter what I do, so I'd like to cast Ponder to try to make that a little better. All right, another Volk with a Thoughtseize under it. Right, not Wasteland. And they're fine just settling into Oak with Tameo Gaming, which is perfectly reasonable thing to do. Right, my top card right now is Force of Will that I don't want. I'm going to play the Sewer this turn. And we're just in that miserable lock where, what if they have Brainstorm? I would like to Thoughtseize plus Molten Collapse next turn, but Tameo is going to be worth 2 cards already by then, and if they have the Brainstorm, it's going to be even more. If they Wasteland me at any point, the whole system collapses. Tameo getting it again. It's now officially Ancestral Recall. The Tameo herself, plus the 2 cards that are already in the bank. All right, it's my turn. I'll start with Thoughtseize. If the hand is Brainstorm and Daze, then Tameo's just great anyway. Fetching in response. Hopefully this is just a Brainstorm to flip the Tameo. Entomb in response. I can't beat any of this shit. That resolves. And Force of Negation now on my Force of Will. Right, I'm going to force pitching Lorien. All right, their hand's pretty bad. Good news, everybody. I'll kill Tameo. The bad news is they have 5 draws in their deck that kill me instantly. Sewer. Dump to Misty. Do we get to play? Thoughtseize. Don't really want to Thoughtseize an Archon of Cruelty. I also don't really want to Brainstorm into Orcish Bowmaster, but that's not usually in main decks, and I'm not going to play around it. Kaito. All right, I'm going to put back C and Volk. And then Falls, dump one of these lands. Thoughtseize might just put Archon of Cruelty in the graveyard here. In fact, there's a good chance that that happens. Yeah, what would be in their hand that they didn't play? It's either a counterspell or a land. Ponder, horrible. Please shuffle, please shuffle, please shuffle. Didn't shuffle, we're dead. Tameo, okay. Maybe okay. Okay, I'm drawing a land. I could Thoughtseize here. Check for counterspells or Brainstorm, and then hardcast Kaito. I'd hate to put Archon of Cruelty in the graveyard for them, but I do have to know what's in their hand. It's Flooded Strand. Kaito. I'm going to stun Tameo and hope that I can start doing stuff next turn. They're going to have another Undercity Sewer in their deck. If they didn't just already hide a banger on top. All right, they just drew for turn. Could have shuffled. They know what this card is. This might be Murktide. Okay. Drew the card that they knew about and then shuffled away. So there was a good one there. Brainstorm. Yeah, good job me stunning the Tameo. That's now a creature. Or now a Planeswalker. I would feel behind in this game if they didn't also have a deck full of Reanimates and both of their monsters in the graveyard. But that's also true. Plus Tameo. Please don't have good cards in your hand. Great. Great. Cool. Cool. Having fun. Another game decided by Tamio. All right. Pyroblast come in, Surgical, Cage, bunch of forces come out. We just did this. What did I do? Dress down. All right. Oh, wait. I want my Barogoyf. How did I get that in here? Did I cut Lorien revealed? That makes sense. All right. Here we go. Right back in. And that game, I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir, and the choir is anyone who's ever played Legacy. But like, if I just have the confidence, like if the Brainstorm Tamio interaction didn't exist, if Tamio was if you drawn 4 cards this turn instead of 3, or if you draw your 3rd card on your turn, like if any of those lines of text existed, if the card was just a different card, I think I would have confidently just sent my removal spell at Tamio a turn earlier than I did, and then it was, you know, the last action card in their hand was Tamio. Then the last action card in their hand was Animate Dead. If the Tamio, if I didn't have to do all that shit, thought seizing to make room to make sure that my removal spell actually resolved, then they just have 2 fewer cards. All right, I guess I'll keep this. I think I have to get a basic island and try to make sure my mana is stable for the game. This Wasteland is too devastating here when my hand is otherwise really good. Shit. All right, so I like the Brainstorm. I like that I have a land at all. I don't like that it's this land. I'm going to shuffle. Ended up with Brainstorm anyway. I really want black mana. Underground Sea, Tamio. Yep, cool. My own Tamio, showing up in the wrong order. All right, there's a land. Okay, Snapcaster's a way off. Flame of Nor's a way off. I'll just dump all of that stuff away. Guess I'll hide Clinging to Dust from them. I'm just going to Fatal Push. If I lose to Entomb Reanimate, you got me. If you have Daze here, at least it costs you a Daze. I'm not getting got by the Brainstorm trick here. Right, Tamio's in the graveyard, though I'm not in good shape this game. Another Tamio, sweet. Okay, they're missing now. Fatal Push, your stupid Tamio. Match it with my own. All right, that was worth a Daze. Underground Sea's back. Show me the 3rd Tamio. Hell yeah. Yep, there's Flame of Anor. I could Thoughtseize now. I could Cling, try to hit a land, and then play Thoughtseize anyway. Using Cling on anything other than a Reanimate monster feels kind of sketchy here, but hitting my land drop would be so sick. Alright, I'm gonna Cling their Daze and draw a card. Alright, I'll take it. Thundertrap Trainer. That resolved without a fight. Alright, I could bank this Kaito. That puts them in a certain type of position. I could take Red Blast, but I already have Flame. Molten Collapse covers a lot of bases too. Kaito is the worst one versus Wasteland. Alright, I'm going to take Kaito. They're missing land drops. Like, they kept this triple Tamio Daze hand. I want to try to put them on the back foot. Okay, they're more scared of Kaito than they are of interested in drawing cards. I like that. Now I want to start checking them with Thoughtseize. I'd rather resolve Flame of Anor, but if their hand is Brainstorm, that's bad for me. Entomb attracts a Force of Will Bowmaster. I'm taking this Brainstorm all day, every day. I'm honestly surprised they didn't cast it already. Well, taking Brainstorm. And I'll pass. Really wish I had drawn a land this turn to really smash their head in. Right, they're going to Entomb for Archon here. Now Reanimate is a good draw for this turn. Right, we're still chilling. They have Force of Will in their hand that I know about. I don't think I want to Thoughtseize them again. But knowing that Thoughtseize is over there really messes with my vibe. Okay, I think my plan is snap Fatal Push on Tamio in their end step, and then use Flame of Anor to finish them off on my turn. Okay, they found a land. Now if they've drawn an Animate Dead, there's one unknown card. If it was Reanimate, I think they would have cast it last turn. And Bowmaster now picks off Snapcaster and can represent a bunch of blockers. I'm going to push Tamio in the end step. Fatal Push. Kill Tamio. If they Brainstorm here, Tamio's still dead, so that's fine. Bowmaster's in. That kills Snapcaster. Tamio's dead. Cling to Dust. Okay. I could Flame of Anor for no value. I could attack with Thunder Trap Trainer and dare them to double block. All right, I'm going to attack with Trainer. I can either kill Bowmaster here or just chew up their Orc army for freezies. All right, I like that just fine. And I've got them in kind of a lock here where they know I have Kaito. And if they don't do something that beats Kaito this turn, they're going to have to just chump with Bowmaster. Okay. They said I'm not chumping with Bowmaster. Go ahead, play Kaito. All right, I will go to my turn. They might have another Bowmaster. That would make sense here. They're still just attacking. Yep. My goodness, what a surprise. Okay, so this thing's going to die anyway. I guess I was supposed to flame. Shit, I fucked this up. Damn it. I knew they had this fucking card and I misplayed. Also, just would be nice if my deck produced a single land ever in my entire life, but that's not possible. Okay. I think Flame has to kill one of these, but I can do that on their turn. All right, I'm going to pass. Ponder. They still have that Force Atraxa over there. Didn't shuffle. Thoughtseize. All right, well, I will deal 5 to target creature in response. And then they can look at my terrible hand and laugh at me. Okay, that happened. Thoughtseize happens. They know everything. Took my Thoughtseize. Makes sense as a combo deck. Ha! You dope. Played around it. Right, well, I'll take Force of Will. Their hand is Entomb, Atraxa. I have to just preordain here. There's no, whatever. Trigger your stupid thing. I'll go top. You get an Orc army. I finally hit my 4th land. It's only turn 9. And I'll pass. Upkeep Entomb. This is just going to Entomb some random card they don't want to draw. Unless this person also has an Uro. Yeah, they Entombed the 4th Entomb. They get attacked down to 10. If they Thoughtseize me here, I'll just cling Archon in response. Alright, reanimating Bowmaster. Sure. This is still a thing I gotta do. Cling that to dust. I think I'm going to Slamio Tamio, or I tried to make a pun, but it's the wrong card. I'm going to slam Kaito here. Caught in 4K. Okay. Stunning Bowmaster, I don't care about. I'm going to emblem up and just hope they don't draw Reanimate this turn. Brainstorm. All right. That's a lot of looks at Reanimate, and it fixes their shitty hand. Please be looking at 3 more Entombs. You have 7 in your deck because I know you're cheating, and the Brainstorm is looking at all of them right now. Okay. Brainstorm has resolved. Bowmaster is attacking Kaito, but Orc Army is not. All right. This is an exciting development. All right, I'm going to attack them with Kaito without using any loyalty abilities first. If they just want to chump, it's fine. All right, my hand is pretty good right now. I'm going to emblem or Kaito again and play my land. Now I can bolt their Bowmaster and Cling to Dust, or Cling to Dust around Daze. All right, this Entomb is probably going to actually bin the Atraxa. Yeah, there they go. All right, that's a full shuffle. Brainstorm has gotten you paid. Now their hand could be Reanimate Force blue card. I've lost all my information I worked so hard to earn. But this game does feel close again, which wasn't true 2 turns ago. I'm not going to bolt this Bowmaster if I don't have to. All right, they're putting points on Kaito. All right, end step, bolt Bowmaster. Now this is worth doing. Let's clear the coast. That might be indicative that they have another Bowmaster, but I'm still just going to attack them and see what happens. Okay, they go to 12. If I activate Kaito and they Bowmaster, that's a lot of power and toughness I don't really want to deal with. I think I'm just going to keep embleming and leaving up Cling to Dust here. I also, with 2 Kaitos, can Surveil 2 in the first main phase and then Ninjutsu the other Kaito in, and like the emblems apply to that one. There's definitely some stuff I could do here. Okay, they're passing the turn. My graveyard is heckin' stacked, so I'm going to exile that Archon of Cruelty right now. Make sure to exile all my creatures because they have Reanimates and I don't. Okay, Archon of Cruelty is out of the game, and Kaito beats Atraxa straight up. Red Blast. Okay, I think I want to... It's a 2-turn clock anyway. I'm just going to attack first before I do anything else. My opponent's at 6, and I'm just going to emblem again. You can't stop me from embleming. And now I can back up Cling to Dust with Red Blast. Like, I don't really care about Atraxa. I don't really care about Barrow Goyf. Kaito covers all that stuff. They can't even cast Reanimate anymore. It has to be Animate Dead. Sure. You've got a Barrogoyf. End step, Cling the Atraxa. I just want to make this not the game we're playing anymore. Okay. That's gone. Tap target creature, put 2 stun counters on it. And attack for lethal. Kaito coast to coast. All right. The triple Tamiyo open didn't quite get me, but it was close. There were multiple turns where if they just have Reanimate, I'm dead, but luckily that didn't happen this particular game. And now I gotta fend them off on the draw. Let's go. These cards are still my cards. It's not getting better. All right, well, I mean, they are a combo deck, but we're both Tamiyo decks. All right, let's play the Tamiyo game. After board, they should be a little slower, but they're still going to have Entombs and Reanimates. Yep, there's Tamiyo. Never not. Thoughtseize. I don't think I can take time to Thoughtseize. I'm just going to cast my own Tamiyo. Like, I have to keep up with Tamiyo with my own, whatever that looks like. And in this case, it looks like taking a risk. Just imagine, if you could, a world where your opponent doesn't start with Tamiyo. All right, block. Make sure I don't get Moon Circuit hackered. Bowmaster, right out of the hand. All right, that plays around me drawing Brainstorm, which I didn't do anyway. Got him. All right, I'm going to Thoughtseize. Daze, Tamiyo, Tamiyo. Great. All right, well, I'll take one of the Dazes. My opponent's really good at drawing 3 Tamiyos in their opening hand. Unfortunately for me, that Wasteland keeps the Daze relevant for a very long time. But fortunately for me, they need that Wasteland to tap for mana if they want to crack that clue, which they do. All right, it's possible Kaito takes over this game right now. Block Bowmaster, I guess. Okay, they have 1 unknown in their hand. I'm going to get Undercity Sewers. Ponder might be good someday. I guess I need it. Put that on top. Attack. Make a clue. Kaito. And Emblem. Okay, I mean, this is the plan I've been given. If their hand is all lands, dazes, and redundant Tamiyos, this is a real plan. If they have to blunt their aggression, yeah, Thoughtseize, whatever. My hand sucks. Not even inclined to cast that Ponder. Wasteland doesn't matter very much anymore. Okay, I still know 3 of their 4 cards, and I know that they're bad. All right, Kaito takes 1, Tamiyo makes a clue. Yeah, speaking of redundant Tamiyos, here they are. I should have just Emblem first. I think they're going to block, but I'm going to Emblem. So why not just do it in case they don't? All right, buff my ninjas. Play one of my 3 Tamiyos. They get Undercity Sewers here. They're seeing so many cards, even knowing that 3 cards in their hand are bad. Like 3 out of the 4 cards in their hand are bad. It's still not enough information for me to be excited about my position. I'm 1 Shoulder's Edict away from being dead. All right, cracked your clue. They can flip Tamiyo this turn and play a new one. All right, leaving Bowmaster back to block. They crack this clue, Tamiyo flips. Oh, Barrogoyf. That's way worse. All right, I'm going to fetch in response and see if I get some useful information here. Preordain. I do not want that. All right, that's gone. I think I'm going to draw a card here with my clue. Because Kaito is not getting through this turn now anyway. It has to stun the Barrogoyf. All right, Lightning Bolt. Finally an answer to Bowmaster. All right, draw for turn. Stun target creature. Freeze up that Barrogoyf. And bash with both. Now they have an interesting decision of, do they even block? Like, if they just take 5, the Bowmaster and Orc Army can push damage back and kill the Kaito. But if they chump, that option's gone. Cool. They decided to not block. I'm going to bolt Bowmaster now and hope Force of Will's not the unknown card in their hand. God damn it. Why is that card even in your deck? Okay. What do I do now? I think I just cast Tamiyo to block. All right, fine. I cast new Tamiyo, Legend Rule, protect the Kaito. It's the most important thing happening right now. All right, pass. If I lose Kaito to a Fatal Push this turn or a second Bowmaster, that's really bad. Cracking a clue. They can't reanimate Archon anymore. Atraxa would put them to 1. All right, well, there goes that. Okay, so now my plan is let them attack Kaito for 2. Once they're committed to the attack, I can crack Clue without taking any extra damage this turn. And then maybe I hit Lightning Bolt right now. Or Fatal Push. Or a Basic Swamp. Yep, Basic Swamp, that's cool too. Okay, not feeling good anymore. All right, thanks for showing up, you dick. Tamio comes in. I'll play Volcanic Island. And I'm going to hold on to this Fatal Push for a minute. Like, I might have to kill Barrogoyf with it next turn. Entomb. All right. This can't be Archon. I guess they have Animate Deads in their deck. They did get Archon. I hope they just forget and reanimate that. That would be awesome. All right, cracking a Clue. 4 cards in hand. Hard to believe this is the same game where I saw their hand was 4 blanks and I resolved a Kaito and we're just getting pummeled. Right, Tamio attacking. Interesting that nothing else is attacking. That's a lot of respect for Snapcaster Mage. They could flip Tamio right now. Up there it goes. And then there's still one in hand that's finally unlocked. Yep, there's that one. All right, I'm going to go to my turn. I'm not going to Fatal Push yet because I don't know what problem is more important. All right, I know what problem is more important. They have 2 unknowns in hand. I'm going to attack Tamio and I'm going to investigate. And I'm going to Fatal Push Bowmaster before blocks. Because if they don't block with their Tamio, which they should, I could then Brainstorm into Kaito. Yep, the block. That is the correct block. All right, second main, Brainstorm. Please fix everything. Cling to Dust, Surgical. I don't think I need Surgical and Cling. So Surgical can go. I guess Swamp's got to go. Tamio flips. Plus her immediately. Shuffle away the bad ones. I'll get another Underground Sea. Ponder. We're looking for removal here, team. That does qualify. We know Daze is the last card in their hand, so put back Flame, Flame, Collapse, don't shuffle. Collapse the Barrogoyf. Oh wait, Tamio! Tamio! I am Descended. Black, red. That was a good one. They've been sitting on Force of Will this long. Do they have double Daze? Big game. All right, I am not going to offer up Tamio for their Daze. All right, pass. Big turn. Fetching for Undercity Sewers in the end step. I did tap in a way. I just have 3 red sources in play, even though I'm a base black deck. I tapped in a way that unfortunately resulted in Clinging to Dust not being up right now. All right, Tamio takes 1 in combat here. It could be 3 if they have another Bowmaster. Tamio's at 3. Brainstorm. Getting their Tamio back in business. Top of my deck is 2 Flames of Anor. Plus I have Tamio that can minus once if I'm willing to delete it. We don't know about Daze anymore. In fact, there's a good chance it's not there at this point. Oh no, that was a quick fetch. Ponder. I'm not going to click the Daze away because I don't want to rule it out. Though, if I minus Tamio targeting Molten Collapse, the Tamio dying descends me, and then I can kill like Barrogoyf and Tamio if they find Reanimate right now. But it might be right to reanimate Orcish Bowmaster if you find it. I'm still holding out hope that they forget and just reanimate Archon. All right, Barrogoyf, that's in. This is really tight. This actually turned into being a good game somehow. Oh no, there's more. Thoughtseize me? That would be great. Reanimate Bowmasters? No! This 1 point on Tamio is going to change the entire game. Right, and wasting 1 of my black. Yep. Might as well. We're here. All right, answers to Barrogoyf are what I need. Barrogoyf is 5/6. Of course they had fucking Bowmaster. All right, what do I do? Their Orc army becomes enormous without actually killing... Oh, wait. Is there a unique card type that I could use to finish off this Barrogoyf with Flame of Anor? What have we gotten here? There's a Planeswalker. Are there 2 of those? I doubt it. So there's Instant Creature, Land, Sorcery, Planeswalker, and what's the other weird one? Oh no, it just has a 6 point of toughness. Planeswalker is the weird one. Okay, so Cling to Dust could kill Barrogoyf here. they could just reanimate it again next turn. And Orcish Bowmaster once again hard locking this Flame of Anor from doing what I want it to. All right, plus Tamiyo. Do I just have to roll the dice here? No, because if Daze is still in their hand, that doesn't even solve my problem. Though, I could draw 3 cards on their turn. But if that Daze still is the card in their hand, that incinerates me. And drawing 3 cards on their turn doesn't even help. Yeah, the Orc army is still just huge. Okay, I guess I should Cling to Dust the Kaito first and see what I draw off of that before I make any other decisions. Oh, I knew that was there. Never mind. I'm being a silly goose. All right, Tamiyo takes 1. Flame. Deal 5 to Barrogoyf. Play Tamiyo. All right, pass. Their hand, last card in hand is not Daze. They didn't Daze my Tamiyo. They're at 4. Like, Snap Bolt pretty close to killing them. Like, minus Tamiyo, Grab Bolt isn't the worst thing either. Yeah, their Tamiyo just works. Mine is struggling. They bought back Force of Will with Tamiyo. They're confident that their cards are going to win. All right, I'm going to block here because them buying back Force of Will means I need multiple cards to win. Murktide Regent. That card's pretty good. Barrogoyf. All right, I'm going to be mana short of doing what I need to do here. Yeah, they just have Force. Yeah, the 8/8 complicates things quite a bit. I think I have to get back Molten Collapse. And there's no room for a Thoughtseize here. All right, destroy these 2 things. Murktide and Tamiyo. And Barrogoyf's not a bad follow-up here, though. Oh, wow, they didn't force that. Barrogoyf? No way Murktide was the only blue card in their hand. I don't believe it. Okay, Force Pitching Ponder. Okay, we're back in the dregs, but we're not dead. Entomb is the last card in hand. Dump to Traxa. This Brazen Borrower just looming. You need a big draw. Lightning Bolt is not a small draw. Okay, I'm going to pass to my opponent here. They played Brazen Borrower. Oh, they're at fucking 3. All right. I'll bolt you. I think Force of Negation is the only card they could have. I almost tricked myself on that one. What a game. Wow. GG's. A 4-1 record. Hard fought. Okay, I mean, this deck was awesome. You get to play so much Magic. Every round went a long time because you're just dragging everything. I think all of the matches, my clock was close to or below 10 minutes left. Lots of choices to make, lots of customization in the deck. Like, you could play however many Clings, Pushes, Thoughtseize, Lightning Bolt, Dress Down, Snapcaster, Thundertrap Trainer, Shoulder's Edict, Molten Collapse, Flame of Anor, Kaito, and Lorien Revealed as you want. Basically, every card in the deck is a flex slot. If you've just got more Urza Sagas in your metagame, playing more Dress Downs, if you've got more Reanimator, 2 feels like a good number of Cling to Dust anyway. If there's more Bowmasters around, you could play your own Bowmasters to answer them. This is very much a Tamiyo deck, though. I mean, every good deck in Legacy is a Tamiyo deck right now, and I think I really like the 2 Molten Collapses being a good answer to Tamiyo. That last match, it took a long time to heat up, but that last match getting 2 kill your best creature and Tamiyo Molten Collapses out of it was insane. I think Brendan did a really good job here. This deck felt stable, the mana felt good, the number of basics, the number of surveils, the number of fetches, all of that mostly worked out okay. 2 feels like the right number of Kaito. We may or may not need Lorien Revealed, but like I just said, that's a flex slot. Yeah, the deck itself, rock solid. Just tune your flex slots to what you expect to play and be ready for slimy, grimy Tamiyo mirrors. Oh, also, if you're going to play against Nadu Elves twice in a league, probably want a Toxic Deluge in your sideboard, just something to help with going wide like that. There's also the mono white warp deck with Ocelot Pride that's been kicking around lately. You're going to really struggle against decks like that if you don't have a proper sweeper somewhere in the list. Probably not hard to find room for one of those. I'm going to leave that here. My brain is mush. I worked really hard this league, and that's some rewarding Magic. Everyone, like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon to support the channel. I'll see you next time.